All right, welcome to the Highland Trail in Algonquin. So this trail is two loops. There's either a 19K option or a 35K option. We're going to be hitting the 35K option, but we found out last night that we're going to get quite a lot of snow tonight, so it's going to be interesting on what tomorrow's trail looks like. We're going to be doing it in one night, so we got a couple big days of hiking. Try and hit 20 kilometers today and then hit the 15 tomorrow. We left Toronto this morning 5 o'clock, 5 a.m. We got here just after 8, even with a stop. And I think it's really cool, and I don't think enough people take advantage of this wilderness that is 3 hours away from the city. And that's kind of one of my goals with this channel and with Defy Adventures, is just get more people outdoors, get more people using their fitness and experiencing this. Get a good fire going tonight, have some fun out here on the trail. Carrying quite a bit of gear because obviously it's cold. There will be a video in the comments there showing what I carry on these backpacking trips. We're a few kilometers in now. Temperature is great. Had to get some layers off. Oh shit, got quite a bit of ice here. So we're back. Oh shit, did just go. It is very, very slippy here. A lot of ice.
Oh yeah, look at this. Look at sheer ice.
And I just took my gloves off because my hands were nice and warm, and now they're covered in snow. So it's they've had a lot of snow up here this year. We're at the end of March. It's technically spring, but I think we're at least a foot of ice underneath us here as we're walking on the trail. And one thing that I read about this trail was that there's a lot of up and down. We're not going to climb too high for too long, but there's a lot of short, punchy climbs, kind of like this one if you can get good angle, and it's proven that way so far. So this one has obviously had a lot of it thawed out, a lot of water was running down the trail, and it's all iced over. It's just so peaceful. Such a contrast to living in a city like Toronto. It's been 6 months since I was on my last backcountry trip, which is way too long. And the peace. The only thing I'm thinking about right now is getting some good videos, and when we're going to stop, have lunch, water. My camelback's not so good, it's freezing up, so water's something that's certainly on my mind. But just the peace, it's just bliss. I actually missed a little campsite on the map there. So this is Faya Lake, F-A-Y-A, and we're an hour 50 into this, so this could be definitely somewhere you would stop. It's on a nice point here. You can see we've got a nice little setup with some log benches. We've got a nice fire pit. We're on a nice point here. This is the only campsite on this lake, so we've walked in here now. We're gonna make some tea, have a bit of a snack, and then crack on.
Fucking Michael Jordan there.
I don't know if you can see this, but there is some epic ice formations all on that rock there. Temperature's like -8 or so, -10 when we set off, but it's hard to keep cool because you obviously have to have some layers on, but the constant up and down, on the ups you get really hot, on the downs you cool down a little bit, and the flats, so that temperature regulation is hard in the winter. So a few layers, good base layers, help a lot. So the trail's obviously not that obvious in the winter, and we have a map and compass and everything, and there's also trail markers along the trail, but they're few and far between we've found in this recent part. So some of the ways they've just been finding the route is, you know, obviously you can see some of the areas a bit more open, but then it becomes a little less obvious. So a good way to see is if you see any very clean cut trees on the side, then that's just a way to see that somebody's cleared that area, which would only be for the trail. Some big trees, logs that have fallen and have got some clean cuts in them, that's just to make way for the trail. So just something that is helping as it's snowing and there's no real obvious sign of which way to go. A lot of the lakes are frozen, so I'm gonna have to get in here and get some water. So this is Head Lake site number 3. It's literally right on the trail. So there's the trail right there. Here's the site. It's actually not a bad site at all.
No, I like it.
Nice view of the lake, but somebody decided to leave their horseshoes here. Snowshoes. Nice little fire pit. You know, frying pan if you want to, you know, get your steaks on and stuff. Yeah.
You think this one's not far enough? Keep going.
Yeah, we're not quite far enough yet. We're only at 15.5k, so we need to get a little further so that we can
kind of like this one though.
Have at least less than half of the trail tomorrow. So I've hit Harness Lake, gone past a couple sites. Both of them actually were on trails that went off, so I didn't see the actual site, but they look like they would be good ones. Harness Lake 4, Harness Lake 3. I noticed on the map that a little further along the trail there's kind of a house structure on the map, so no idea what that would be out here. So I'm gonna go check it out, and there's 2 campsites straight after that house, wooden shack, whatever it is, and we're taking one of those for the night. Priority is going to be get the shelter up because we got freezing rain, so get the tent out ASAP and then fire. It's still 20 to 5, so still got a nice evening to spend by the fire and get some food and stuff, some hot tea, drinks, so plenty of firewood going to be needed. Even though there's a lot of snow, everything's really dry. What a day. So we left Toronto 5 in the morning. It's now 5:30. Camp is set up. Fire is going. We were having a big bout of freezing rain there, which was made it a little unpleasant setting up, but it all got done, so that's good. Time to just change into some fresh clothes. These ones are a little sweaty even though it's cold. We are expecting a lot of snow tonight, so we'll see how that goes, but at the moment all is looking pretty well.
Last night was a little rough. We had quite a lot of snow. I don't even know if you can see, but this is all snow all the way up to here, kind of dumping in on us, and it's going to be a little bit of a fight to get out of here this morning. Yeah, there was a few times where the tent fell down on our heads. So this morning we've got to make way. It's 5 AM right now, just past. I've got to get some food made, get this packed up, and then hit the trail, which is going to be a little harder than yesterday with how much snow we had. So we'll be getting on here. All right, you're not going to be able to see much, but pack up's done. It took a little while. Everything frozen, tent pegs snapping in half because they're frozen, tent full of snow, tent poles frozen together. So we're now almost finished. That's kind of how much snow we had last night. Got some water going. Get a quick bite before we get out of here. It's gonna be a long slog. Jesus Christ. Literally knee deep right now. It's a winter wonderland. Alright, little update. We have not been moving long, 22 minutes. And we've only done 700 meters. So we're looking at like 2 kilometers per hour. You can see the depth of the snow on every step. Is just taking a long time. Luckily, so far, the trail is better marked than it was yesterday, because really, it's really hard to distinguish now where's a trail and where's just some open space. We kind of quickly turned here into a bit of a survival situation. We've got a little bit more food, but we only planned on being out here for one night. At this pace, it's going to take us 8 hours to get back to the car, and that's without stopping, that's without doing anything. I was supposed to be back in Toronto tonight because my wife Michelle is supposed to be going out with some friends. I could end up being in trouble here. I also don't know what the state of the roads are like, but it's beautiful. We're probably the only idiots out here. Water's been a little bit more of a challenge than usually is in the backcountry in Ontario, with all the lakes we have, but they're all froze. So this was our spot, so we've had to get some water. Now you might not be able to see so good, but that was the color of the water, and sort of here coming out of the bottle, and then this here where we poured is the color of water coming out of the filter. Now using a Grail filter this week. Usually use a Catadin, but the Grail one is a little bit it's just a little bit more click and play kind of thing, and because we're only out for one night supposedly, that was the choice. So I was quite surprised at just how well it filtered the water there. wasn't too keen on drinking that brown stuff, but yeah, it's come out pretty well on the other side. So we're not far in, only just over a kilometer. It's very hard going. Well, this is quickly turning into one of the hardest things I've done in a long time. The snow in some places is knee to waist deep. It's just very slow going. We stopped for water. We're having to boil most of the water again because it's freezing in various containers. So yeah, you can see just how deep the footprints are every time. We're going to be coming back up to Provoking Lake where we were yesterday. The plan would have been to carry on going east to the east side of the lake, but we're going to cut in and head north once we hit the lake, which takes you back onto Loop 1. It's not going to save a ton of distance, but in these conditions, when you're doing 2k an hour, if you can save a couple kilometers, it's a long time to try and get out of here. So yeah, turning into quite the challenge, but this is what I call type 2 fun.
Good job.
Thanks.
That's the second time you come to the Mosquito Creek on this trail. This is a crossing that was not very well marked, hence the reason now we're bushwhacking to try and find the trail on the other side. There was nothing obvious to see on this trail of where it is. I'm sure when there's no snow, there's a very clear crossing point, but it's kind of funny because somebody had put some rope across that we used to cross, but then there was nothing on either side. So we're going to get to the top of this hill. I think we're to the right of the trail here, to the east of it slightly, but it's not so easy going through this thick stuff. I mentioned yesterday that the trail markings weren't great, and some ways that you can potentially get around that. So one of them I said was the tree being cut. So here you've got a tree on this side, the tree on that side. That's clear to me that that trail goes right through here. Another top tip is if you're ever struggling to find a trail marker ahead of you, just look behind and you may see one, and that just gives you an idea that you're on the right route, because obviously that's for people going the other way. It's also important that you know which direction you're going and you should be going. Having a map and compass and just generally knowing the direction you should be going at certain points just helps you to make some good choices. We just bushwhacked, got up to the top of the hill and then just headed slightly east, and we picked up the trail again. So just having a knowing of your surroundings, direction, always important on the trails. I've done almost every day hike in Algonquin. I've done the big western uplands, and this is definitely the most poor marked, being the Highlands Trail, so just worth knowing where you are. Okay, so a little update. We're back to Provoking Lake. I don't know if you can see that sign there. Right there says second loop. This sign says first loop. So obviously you can see on the map where we are, where it says you are here. So we started off yesterday all the way up here, right on here. So no, it's this one here. So from there we did the Black Trail. Okay, so we followed the Black Trail all the way down to here. That hits Provoking Lake, which then you can come around over to the west, and then we took it down all the way down here, and then around, and last night we camped on Harness Lake and we used site 2 right there. So from here you can see we've got 4.7k and then 3.4k, so a total of 8.1. I've got 8.6 on my nav. Has got us to this point. So now we would go this way if the weather conditions weren't so bad, but instead of that 6.6k to get back to this point with these two, we're going to do the 2.5 1.7 gets us back to that point, and then 3.9k trip in. Now what we might do is we might use the bike trail and kind of come in here and see if that's better or not, but I'm not sure how that will be, so that's something to see as we get there. But happy to be at this point right now. It's felt like a long time to get here. 5 hours of moving time. We've had a couple stops to get water, boil water, have some hot tea. For the first time today, I've seen existence of other life. We've got some tracks. And they're not ours. We're at provoking site 5 here. It looks like someone came out of the site this morning and up the hill back away. So we're getting closer now. We just did a pretty good stint to get us basically back to the north part of the trail, and then we can head east up to the car. Still a ways to go, probably 3 hours, but we're making progress. We have a very, very broken man here. If there's anybody watching this, please send help.
Please. Please.
If somehow this is getting live streamed across the world, please send help. That head position is a sign of somebody
Defeated.
in a bad way.
Very defeated. Normally I'm a pretty happy guy.
He's usually pretty happy until he hangs out with me. We do things like this. All jokes aside, this is hard. This is very hard. A little checking in. We're coming up now to the final kind of point. So this is where you get to the actual start of the loops where we were yesterday, and it's a 3.9k back into the car. So typically when I plan my backpacking trips, I like to make each day long. I usually go for 18 all the way up to 26 kilometers, 28 kilometers depending on the terrain. And I do this for a couple of reasons. I really like making it a challenge. I like to, you know, suffer a little bit. That's just something that's part of me. When you're in these suffer kind of moments, which I'm very much in now, you start to think about and appreciate your life. And I'm not amazing at appreciating my life all the time. I'm always thinking about what's next, what can we do better, etc. But some of the simple things, like just a hug from my wife, hug from my kids, even getting these boots off and putting some nice slippers on, that is going to be such a good feeling, and not one that you generally think about and appreciate just on a normal day. So that's one of the reasons I do it. A lot of people like to go hiking and they'll do a couple of hours hiking and, you know, spend the majority of the day at the campsites. That's totally cool. I might do that at some point. give it a try on a longer trip. But generally I'm only out here for just with work, kids, family life, you know, 2 or 3 days. This one's just a one-nighter. You know, I want to get some of the loops done and some of the trails done, so they require big hikes. Later this year do have a longer trip planned where I might put in some short days so that we can just enjoy the time. That one's with Michelle, so that's going to be good. Of course, we'll be documenting it. And documenting these videos it's quite hard in terrain like this, and conditions like this, should I say. I'm only using a GoPro here. Definitely going to get myself a nice camera. Basically share these trips, share the struggles, share the joy, share the fun, share the amazing scenery. I don't know if you can see in the background of me, even at the front, but even just walking through these trails, you know, it's like something out of a movie. So beautiful. So yeah, just thought I'd share that. Still got a couple of hours left, so still some work to be done, but I definitely feel good about where we are now. And you know, this morning I couldn't see how we were going to get this far. Adrian's really struggling, my buddy, cramping and whatnot, so I wasn't sure how far we'd get, but he's plugged on hard. He's needed a few pep talks here and there, but I know he, as well as me, will be better off for this struggle, even though I might be getting in trouble when I get home for being late, but overall we're better off for this struggle. All right, in the car. That was the Highlands Trail. Really good trail. Definitely some really nice camp spots on there. From the most southern western point, Harness Lake, all the way up to back to Provoking Lake is quite a decent trek. I'd say this is a good trail over 2 nights. Get a couple of 3 easy walking days, 2 nights. 1 night was a challenge for sure. Definitely made worse by the snow, but you get 2 good walks in on a 1-night trip. I hope this video give you a bit of insight onto the trail. I would have liked to have filmed a lot more camping spots and stuff, but just with the weather it got a little rough. So definitely come check it out, and give us a follow, like, subscribe, and watch out for more adventures. We're just getting started on this channel.